as you see today, we're going to make a mole sauce. And this is a little bit of a different type of sauce. Now, there's lots of different ways that you can make mole. I'm going to show you guys a very basic way because I don't really have that much time. No, just kidding. I'm actually going to be doing this today for a lunch meetup that I'm going to be hosting. As you see, I've got my laptop up there situated. Let's really hope that doesn't fall. It's in a very precarious position. So here's the ingredients. I'm going to come back to this when it's done, but we've got here a quarter cup of cayenne pepper and cayenne pepper and chili powder mixed together. I've got here 2 tablespoons of flour, a tablespoon of cinnamon, a tablespoon of cumin, and a tablespoon of dried oregano. I've got 1 cut onion, 2 jalapenos. You can also use chili peppers, and a bunch of garlic, 3 to 4 cloves to be exact. So that's going to be the ingredients to start. So we're going to start with the onions, peppers, garlic, and then we're going to start to add the spice. And then over here, I've got this all situated here. Eventually, we're going to add 2.5 cups of vegetable broth. What is this? I forgot. Oh, it's a tablespoon of cocoa powder, 2 tablespoons of almond butter, and a tablespoon of tomato paste. Through my camera, that looks purple. I forgot what it was for a second. And a teaspoon there of salt, and we're going to mix it all together. I'll be kind of going through this later, but just wanted to show you guys the setup for today's Cinco de Mayo recipe. Hey everyone, welcome back to another exciting day of Purplehead Adventures. Today is one of my top holidays. I'm really excited. No, it's not Valentine's Day. I know I still have my Valentine's Day decorations up. I'm a little slow to clean this room. Anyway, today we're going to virtually travel to Mexico. I think I last recorded, you guys probably saw me on my muddy hike that we had a few weeks ago. I also recorded back on St. Patrick's Day. If you haven't seen that episode, unfortunately we were still on lockdown mode. How are you guys doing out there? You hanging in there? I know it's rough. So unfortunately, since we can't actually travel, we're going to try to virtually travel as much as we can and have a little fun in our houses, right? All right, don't worry guys, I'm right there with you. So before we get started, I'm going to explain here. So this is a mini sombrero. It's been in my closet for like 10 years now. And these are, Mardi Gras beads from New Orleans, but we're going to pretend that they're from Mexico because they are actually the color of the Mexican flag. So we got to be festive, right? And I have my airplane earrings in today because we're going to make a little virtual trip to this country to the south of us, right there. It's a big country. It's Mexico. Lots of good places to visit and things to do there. We're going to talk about some of the Mexican traditions and heritage, and some of the cultural places to visit, as well as just some cool little hidden gems. We're going to talk a little bit about traveling to Mexico. And then to add the icing to the cake, or shall I say, the salsa to the chips. I did just say that. We are going to make mole sauce, okay? And I promise it's not going to be one of those gross mole sauces because there are some of those out there. I'm going to give you guys a little bit of a simpler one that's a little easier to make. It's a little quicker. I do have a confession to make. I've made it like 4 times in the past week. In fact, I made it already today. I hosted a virtual lunch meetup, so I've already actually made it today. I was walking people through how to make it. So now I'm going to show you guys, so you guys have it here on a video. It's starting to overtake our refrigerator. In fact, our entire refrigerator right now is about 90% Mexican leftovers. So Mexican food may or may not be my lifeline. We may or may not have celebrated 4 de Mayo yesterday. Yeah, we definitely had enchiladas for dinner and listened to Mexican music. And I also may have had Mexican food, probably dos de mayo and quite possibly uno de mayo. So I think we took like one day off there. Yeah, so pretty lucky not to have any stomach ulcers right now, just yet. So yeah, we're gonna have lots of fun today, you guys. So just so you guys know, in case you're wondering why my face matches my dress, here in Ohio it was like 80 degrees on Sunday. Spent all day outdoors painting my front fence and my deck, and now it's like gonna snow tomorrow, so I get to live with the Sunday's choices, I guess, for the remainder of the month. Well, I guess it kind of fits in with our trip to Mexico because I always get burned anyway when I travel to Mexico, so I'd fit right in, right? All right, guys, let's get started. Okay, so before we get started, I'm going to clarify exactly what Cinco de Mayo actually celebrates. Okay, so contrary to the popular belief, it does not celebrate Mexico's independence against Spain. That's technically September 16th. So if you need any excuse to have Mexican food and burritos and enchiladas in September, there's your excuse, as if you needed one of those, right? I mean, I'll be eating Mexican food then anyway, so who cares? No, but what actually Cinco de Mayo celebrates is Mexico's defeat over France during the Franco-Mexican War in 1862. Now, what happened was, this was called the Battle of Puebla, by the way. What happened is that Mexico owed a lot of debt to Europe, specifically England, Spain, and France. Mexico was able to negotiate with both Spain and England. However, France, being led by Napoleon III at the time, saw this opportunity to seize some Mexican territory. So, yeah, Mexico wasn't exactly prepared to battle. However, they didn't have a choice. The soldiers were ill-equipped. It didn't look good for Mexico. But needless to say, Mexico won the battle. I think France lost about 500 soldiers, and Mexico lost less than 100. So it was a good day in Mexican history. So you'll find that the most of the celebrations of Cinco de Mayo occur in the state of Puebla, so you won't see it as much around the rest of the country. In fact, it's not even technically a federal holiday, but where you do find it, you'll find it most in Puebla. And the reason Americans celebrate it is because it's kind of just our chance to celebrate just Mexican heritage and culture and tradition. It doesn't really matter what it's for. I mean, it was a victory, and we need a day to celebrate and eat Mexican food and remember Mexican independence and victories and whatever. So why not have it be the 5th of May, right? Yeah, especially when it's like 30 here in Ohio, and we have nothing better to do except for eat burritos and enchiladas. So anyway, that's a little bit about the history of Cinco de Mayo. Okay, so we're going to talk about everybody's favorite thing first, which is beaches. Many of you go to Mexico to see the pristine beaches and the blue waters and the white sand. If you haven't been, do yourself a favor and get to a beach at some point. The water is very blue. Sand is very white. It's very nice, very everything. So let's talk about some of the popular ones of Cancun and Cozumel. Those are some big tourist destinations. Lots of cruise ports. If you have a smaller trip plan, there's lots to do, lots of nightlife, good beaches. Some other popular places are Playa del Amor, Playa del Carmen. That's another one. I've been there. Playa Norte, and Puerto Vallarta. You'll have to excuse me, by the way, if I pronounce this wrong. I'm doing my best with my horrible American accent. So hopefully you guys get the hint. If you do need this written down, I have all of this written down in my forum, which is purplehoodadventures.com/forum. You'll be able to find the post there, and I have all this written down. So if you don't understand me, just a note that it is written somewhere for you to read. Some of the less common beach areas are Costa Alegre, Jalisco, or Jalisco. I think it's Jalisco with the J. And Bahia Balandra. Those are some big beach areas. Okay, let's talk about ruins, okay? Mayan ruins. That's one of the big reasons people like to visit Mexico. I'm going to talk about the most popular one first, which is Chichen Itza. I have been there myself. It was a while ago. I think I was like 14 or something like that, but I still remember it very clearly. It's on the Yucatan Peninsula. It's got a pyramid-like structure. It's pretty iconic if you look it up. Okay, here's one that I don't know how to pronounce, but Calakmul. It's Calakmul. It's Calakmul. There's not as many crowds there. It's near the border of Guatemala. It's in the jungles of the greater Petén Basin. Petén Basin? You know what I mean. Petén, P-E-T-E with a hyphen over it, and basin area. Okay. I told you, we're going to be in for it. This is going to be really comical, you guys. And also you can climb the 45-meter pyramid there. So that's kind of a cool idea. Cobo, which is the ancient Mayan city. It's in the Yucatan Peninsula also. It's one of the largest networks of stone causeways in the Mayan world. So that's kind of cool. I have notes here, so I am reading off of paper, you guys. However, it is my own research, so I'm not just reading off of random paper, but I don't have this memorized. Okay, next one I have, another one I'm not sure I'm pronouncing correctly. Uxmal, A-X-M-A-L, or U-X-M-A-L, Uxmal, I think it is. It's more crowded than popular, but it's pretty well known. They have a nighttime show there and even a chocolate museum inside. So if you ever wanted to see how chocolate's made inside of a ancient Mayan ruin, there's your chance. Tulum, that's another one. It's a walled city overlooking the ocean on the coast. It used to be an old trading and religious center. There's murals painted inside. Those are pretty popular to visit. Palenque, which is home to King Pacal's tomb. It also has burial chambers inside and the Temple of Inscriptions. So that seems like a cool place to visit. Some other noteworthy ones. I'm not going to go through all of them, but Monte Alban. Oh gosh, I'm going to try this one. Teotihuacan. It's Teotihuacan. So if you know how to pronounce it, you're a better person than me. But yes, that's it. Also Ekbalam. So EK space BALAM. Again, this is on my forum. So you have it. Those are some temples that I would recommend you could visit. Alrighty, let's talk about cities for you city lovers. I'm going to give you guys some cities to visit that are both historic and cultural. So I'm not going to give you Cancun or Cozumel or Mexico City. We're going to talk about other ones today. All right, so the first one I have here is Guanajuato. I guess that's what it is, Guanajuato. It's in the Sierra de Guanajuato Mountains. And this is a colonial city founded in 1554, and it's one of the richest silver mining areas in Mexico. The city is filled with colorful alleyways and underground tunnels. Looked pretty cool when I was looking at the pictures. So that's one you can visit. Puebla, another city you can visit. We talked about that one at the very beginning. It's got the historic significance of the Battle of Puebla, where Cinco de Mayo kind of started. Anyway, it's a very European feel to it because it was actually established by the Spanish. It connects two port cities of Acapulco and Veracruz, and it has lots of cathedrals, bell towers, and Zocalo, which is a popular town square there. It's known for its culinary history as well as architecture and pottery. So if you're looking for some history and some culture and all of that, head to Puebla. Next one I have on here is San Miguel de Allende, and it's in Central America in Bahia Mountains. Very historical, I will say. I did learn about that. It was founded by a San Franciscan monk who played a big role in the Mexican independence against Spain. The city was also a vital spot for Mexican silver, so that's another area. It's also known for its colorful historic buildings, cobblestone streets, churches, and the Pink Teatro Angela Peralta. So I'm guessing a pink theater. So lots of color in Mexico. I've noticed lots of interesting architecture and color. Not like the drabby, dull gray and brown buildings we often find here. Merida, I have been here. Merida, I went when I was a lot younger, and I remember it just being really, really different. It was the first place in Mexico I had been that was not, in one of the big cities. Merida is also on the Yucatan Peninsula. Also once colonized by the Spanish. There's a lot of colonial homes, Mayan ruins and architecture. It's got more of a small town vibe. Lots of locals live there. It's also known for its food, and is named by Lonely Planet as one of the top places to visit in the world. So I highly recommend Merida. My parents took me there when I was really young, and it's still stuck with me today at 32. So definitely recommend that. You could take your kids there too. I went as a kid, so I turned out fine, right? We'll see about that one. Yeah, just kidding. I'm not that bad, am I? Anyway, okay. So let's talk about Taxco. So that's our last city for today. It's another mining town known for its silver and cobblestone streets. It's got some interesting architecture. Seems to be one of those common themes there. It's nestled in the mountains and hills, and the main square is called Plaza Borda, where you can see, oh gosh, here comes another one of those pronunciations. Thought I was done with these. Parroquia de Santa Prisca, which is a church built in the 18th century, and it houses the preserved paintings from Mexican Baroque period. So lots of paintings, lots of artwork to see there. Sounds like a really interesting heritage place to visit, Taxco, Mexico. So those are some city places you can visit around Mexico. Alrighty, let's talk about some cool things to do in Mexico. And no, I'm not going to say the same things I already said. I'm going to give to you guys a little mix of some popular things to do as well as some maybe things you haven't heard of. So if you're thinking about taking a trip to Mexico, hopefully this will give you guys a good place to start. First one I have on here, aside from Mayan cities and beaches, because those are what people think of when they think of Mexico. I know I do, but we're going to talk about some other things as well that you can visit. If you're sunburned like me and you can't make it to the beach one more day. Okay, so it's true. Copper Canyon. I don't know if you guys have heard of that, but it's bigger than the Grand Canyon. Pretty hard to imagine, right? Bigger than the Grand Canyon. You can explore here. Here's another one of those words. Chihuahua, okay. Chihuahua, Chihuahua, I guess. El Pacifico Railway. So it's a railway that you can explore. You can hike the canyons, I believe. So yes, that's a unique place to visit. El Arco, which is a unique arch formation. It marks where the Pacific Ocean becomes the Gulf of Mexico. It's an icon of Cabo San Lucas. That's a pretty iconic place to visit there. In Cancun, a lot of you guys go to Cancun, there's an underwater museum with over 500 sculptures. That's pretty cool. You can dive down under there and see this underwater museum. I want to go there. However, I've never been scuba diving before. I would like to do it at some point. But yeah, you can see 500 sculptures there. It's a non-profit organization in the interest of saving coral reefs. So pretty interesting if you want to support the cause. Another one is Ceno dos Ojos. So ojos means eyes. I do know that one. It's one of the country's largest underwater cave systems. Pretty cool underwater caves. Yeah, you've been to the above ground ones. Time to go to some ones underwater, right? The name actually means cavern of two eyes, like I said, ojos. And it refers to two sinkholes that are connected by a long passageway. So if you want to go explore the area, yes, Ceno dos Ojos. Next one I have is Isla de Mujeres. So Mujeres means woman or women. It's only 8 miles from Cancun. It means island of woman, like I just said. Refers to the Mayan goddess of childbirth, actually. It's got a lot of historical and cultural heritage and significance to it. And you can also dive and snorkel there as well. So as you guys can see, there's a lot of water-related things to do in Mexico. There are a lot of coasts. It's warm. Next one. Another one I don't know how to pronounce, but we're going to go with is Takahi Huatl. Okay. Iztaccihuatl. Okay. Again, if you know how to pronounce it, you're a better person and speller and reader than I am. But it's 5,230 meters of dormant volcano. And it's in the, Iztapozocuapan National Park. So if you want to see a dormant volcano, that's one of them. Okay. Let's talk about the Museum Nacional de Antropología, which is the anthropology museum. So if you like museums and learning about history, it's the largest and most visited museum in the world, or one of them. It's got numerous artifacts and exhibits relating to the pre-Columbian heritage. Mayan pieces and Aztec pieces alike can be seen there, including the Stone of the Sand and the original Aztec calendar stone. Pretty cool. If you don't know what that is, go look it up. There's a lot of really interesting things you can see there. The last one I have here for you is Hierve el Agua, which is natural rock formations in Mexico and Oaxaca. And the formations resemble cascades of water. It's really crazy looking. I was looking at pictures. I have not been here, but it literally looks like waterfalls, but it's rock formations. So if you're looking for something interesting like that, some good natural geography to see, it's Hierve el Agua, Hierve el Agua. All right, everyone. Hopefully you guys got a little bit of a start on where you can head to in Mexico for your travels when you're allowed to travel again. Hopefully that'll be sooner rather than later. Mexico is a really great place to visit. So I actually want to get back there myself. I haven't been in a few years. So this is a lot of just my research. I have not personally been to a lot of these places, hence why I'm having trouble with the pronunciations. I'll work on those, guys. I am a speech pathologist. I don't know if I told you that before. Doesn't mean I'm any better at pronouncing anything. So, okay, so now to the fun part. We're going to make mole sauce. I will see you in my kitchen. Okay, I am now in my kitchen, and we are going to get started on making our mole sauce. As you see, I've already prepped all of the ingredients there again today. More ingredients over there, full trash there. I've already made this, like I said. Okay, so to start with, we are going to get this lit, and I'm going to put this on medium-high, about there. I've already put in here 2 tablespoons of olive oil, and now I'm going to add my onion. You'll have to excuse some of the green that's in there. I got mixed with jalapenos. I don't know if I mentioned this, but I really like hot sauce and spices. So this recipe calls for an optional jalapeno. I naturally chose 2 of them. You can also do chili peppers. So that's 2 jalapenos chopped up. And I'm going to just brown these onions. Well, not really brown them. I'll cook them for about 5 minutes until they get soft to start with. Okay, these are pretty soft, as you can probably hear. Now I'm going to add my 2 jalapenos that are optional. Like I said, one of these days I'm going to end up with a stomach ulcer. Not yet though, so don't have to worry about that just yet. Okay, so I'm going to mix those in, and then I'm going to add my garlic. Now, the recipe calls for about 4 cloves of garlic. I probably have way more of that in here. I also love garlic. I'm going to ward off vampires about for the rest of my life, so I never have to worry about vampires either. I'm going to mix all of these together for another 1 to 2 minutes until they all get combined and everything's pretty soft and fragrant. Okay, something needs to be talked about here. This is our next ingredient that we're going to add to our mix there. This is 1/4 cup of a mixture of chili powder and also cayenne pepper. The recipe calls for chili powder. However, locals were commenting that the Mexican version of chili powder is more like the cayenne version. So I just mixed the 2 together, thinking that that was the least common denominator. If you like this really spicy, you can add more cayenne pepper. Okay, so, but if you like it really spicy, you might do like half and half. If you like it not that spicy, maybe mostly chili powder and then a little bit of cayenne pepper. Or if you just really want to test your taste buds, you can just like add all cayenne pepper. I didn't even do that. Not looking to diet just yet today. So yes, that's what this mixture is. And there goes the spices. Ah, yes. Doesn't that look scrumptious? Okay, we're gonna mix this around. You don't want the spices to burn. So if you can use a non-stick pan like this one, that's ideal. I'm gonna mix this together. Smells very good, actually, already. Okay, so as I mix this in, I'm also gonna add a few other things over here. And that is, we have here 2 tablespoons of flour, just regular flour. Okay. Then we're gonna add 1 teaspoon of cinnamon. Don't make your cup be wet because, yeah, then it'll stick like that. Hang on, I'm gonna use the garlic spoon to get it out. Yes. Okay, so here's our cinnamon. Okay, that's good enough. Teaspoon of cumin powder. And then half a teaspoon of dried oregano. That's what that is. Mix it all together. You guys are probably thinking, oh my God, what is this girl making? I'm telling you, it's very good. Like I said, this is not my first time making this. So I'm going to ask you guys a question here. Has anybody ever had Skyline chili? And I ask that because I was born and raised in Cincinnati. It smells just like that. It has a lot of similar ingredients. Later we're going to add cocoa powder, which is going to make it even more smelling like Skyline chili. If you've never had it, look it up. It's the most amazing thing ever, especially if you're from there. If you're not from there, you either hate it or you love it. So I'm going to mix this around for a minute or so. Don't let it dry too much, and then I'm going to turn off the heat right about now because it's starting to get dry. Any guesses what this is? No, it's not apple cider, although it does look like apple cider. It is 2.5 cups of vegetable broth or stock. It's about the same thing. That's what's going to make it that soupy color. Well, not color, but consistency. Same color. Going to mix that around now. It kind of just looks like vegetable soup a little bit. I'm going to mix that together, and then I'm going to show you what we're going to do next. It's going to be a little different. All right, here, my finger's in the way. Okay, here's the fun part. So this is where I get into trouble most likely because I'm probably going to spill, but I'm going to pour this into, well, you can use a blender or a food processor. Like I said, I'm not the neatest person on the planet. I do my best, usually get into trouble. I'm going to unplug this toaster, and I'm going to blend this together. Now, you don't actually have to do this, but it makes it a little bit of a better consistency, more homogeneous, and just a little bit less chunky. So I'm going to mix this up here. I'm going to use this. And do it for a few minutes and try not to spill on yourself. That's where we'll start. Okay, now that this looks like vomit, just kidding. Doesn't really. I'm just going to pour this back into that pan there. I'll clean up that mess later. Now what I have here is 2 tablespoons of almond butter. You can use actually any nut butter. 1 tablespoon of unsweetened cocoa powder, and this purpley red looking stuff that I said earlier is actually tomato paste. It looks red in real life, but not so much in this camera. We're going to dump all of those things from this plate to that pan right there. And just to prove I just did that, I couldn't exactly do it with one hand. That's it in there. Also, I forgot to mention there is a teaspoon of salt in there as well. So I'm going to continue mixing this on the stove. I'm going to bring this back over to the stove. And we're going to put this back on, about medium heat again. About there. And we're going to continue to mix this for a little bit, a few minutes until it simmers. And you want it to be kind of a thicker consistency when all is said and done. So you want it to be a little bit more viscous. So that might take a little bit. You can also taste test it and add more salt if you would like. or really more of anything. If you want to add like some garlic powder, if you didn't get enough garlic, that's another option. So I'm just going to keep mixing and mixing until all of that gets blended in and the mixture gets thicker. Okay, you guys, in that time, I cleaned up my mess. Yep, that like never happened, so that was a good thing there. Okay, so this is about done. It's a little soupier than maybe it will be once it cools down, and then you can, you can serve it warm or you can reheat it. So it'll save in the refrigerator for a while. Okay, so I'm going to turn off the heat. I'm going to taste test this. It's probably really hot, and I do mean that temperature-wise. Pretty spicy. Yeah, I wouldn't have it any other way. Okay, so now, as you see, we're going to go back over here where this full dishwasher is for like the 30th time this week and create more Tupperwares of leftovers. Molly sauce jug number. Okay, adding another leftover to the pile of Mexican food. As you see here, our fridge is stocked full of salsas, and there's even more hidden in those drawers, so don't be fooled. Add another one to the list. Okay, that concludes our virtual trip to Mexico. Hopefully you guys all enjoyed today's discussion on some things and tips and ideas for your next trip to Mexico. And you all now know where it is, just in case this comes up on Jeopardy and you needed a reminder. And hopefully you guys enjoy the mole sauce and you don't get any stomach ulcers. My theory behind that is just keep eating Mexican food like every day, and then you like will have calluses or something. So it's worked for me so far for 32 years. Just kidding. Don't actually get a stomach ulcer. I'm sure those are very painful. But until then, everybody enjoy your adventurous life. Treat every day like it's a new adventure, because it is. If you need any help in doing that, visit us at purpleheadadventures.com and you can adventure with us. Or if you need any pointers or tips. Also, my phone is low on space. Seems like that happens every time I record a video. Probably ramble just a bit. I am a speech pathologist. I guess I have an excuse, right? And until then, don't try to pronounce any words that you can't pronounce, like me. And stay out of the sun if you're albino. And treat every day like an adventure. Like I said, that's my motto. Enjoy the best holiday ever. I hope your fridge is stocked with Mexican leftovers until the real Mexican Independence Day in September. That's what we're going for, right? All right, everyone. Enjoy your holiday. See you next time.